Welcome to the Opera House on this very warm summer night in July. I hope you all get a comfortable seat as I run through this 4 decades of one man's art. It all started in Sydney, Nova Scotia in 1964 when I had my first show. The media at that time was tissue paper, mylar with a mixture of glue substance and overdrawing with Indian ink. It lent itself more to paintings that were done like the floral arrangement on the top here and the matador to its left. There was then a period of time where I was doing post-grad work in England, so I did not paint between 65 and the early 70s, but in 73 we formed the Harmony Lake group of painters, the 4 gentlemen on the top and myself on the far right. And we did mostly sketches in North Queens County, Nova Scotia, landscape work in general. We did a lot of work in Kejimkujik Park and around Harmony Lake in mostly fall and winter scenes. These were 4 more paintings that were done in that area, 16 by 20s. There was a group at one point where we went to Newfoundland and did grouse moron and random passage paintings. These are West Coast oils. I went to the West Coast in 1980 and started to paint in oil paint and found that very quickly people were more interested in watercolors as I was, and we shifted in that, and I had several one-man shows mostly in watercolors on the West Coast. Retired in 2000, moved back to Nova Scotia, got back into the oil canvases, and these 4 paintings were done in North Queens. My studio in North Queens plus 4 paintings, all in oil, of the fall landscapes. At this point I was starting to think I should move on and get into other medias, so I looked into encaustic painting. This was the first encaustic painting that I did. You see the 3 sketches, workup sketches on the side, which eventually ended up with this 5 by 8 panel. The little painting in the corner of the silver birch was the only encaustic painting that I did of a landscape. More on the religious themes. These were 2 feet by 4 foot encaustic paintings of God's Prince and the Magi. Paintings from my trip to England around St. Paul's and December 29th, 1940, the bombing of the cathedral, but everything burned around it except the cathedral. St. Martin's in the Fields looking through the falls in Trafalgar, and the burning of the original St. Paul's in 1666 in the Great Fire of London. Wellington's tomb in the base of the cathedral, and some paintings I did of the Buckingham Palace. This was the last painting I did in encaustic. I felt very successful in manipulating the molded wax, beeswax in this paintings, and that was the end of the series of 13. I had a relapse back into oil painting in the summer of 2007 and did this continental cow, which shows the different continents on the body of the cow. I then in 2008 moved to Mahone Bay and found this old canoe on the waterfront in Lunenburg and did microphotography of all up and down the hull and saw all these different visuals or paintings that I could work up, and pointing one here to the White Cliffs of Dover in respect. 4 additional paintings of that series. Pink ice, which was the blue base of the boat, and then they painted over with pink and the paint chipped off, and this is the kind of feeling that you would get from that. 4 more that were done on the Respect series. 2, one that I call Titanic, the other one Cloud, which is in fact a chunk of fiberglass on the hull of the boat. I then went in 2009 to the Arkansas Blackboard series. These blackboards were manufactured in Arkansas, USA, and were on the walls of the school, Mahone Bay School, which when they went into renovation, I obtained these boards, which were tempered masonite, mounted them on frames, used industrial paint, and worked with tools of the trade, caulking gun, drywall compound, and wood filler and different instruments to work with my paintings. This was the first of that series, which set the style, the Mahone Bay Wharf. Next was lashings, again spending a lot of time on concentration of the composition, lashings 2, kayaks and life jackets. And this painting called Blue Beam shows the photographic reference in the lower corner. And Ship's Knee, again, these paintings are 36 by 48 with the photographic reference of a starting point. This is a Thunderbird lashing, which was done at that time period too on blackboard material. The Red Tide started out to be a landscape of the sunset over Mahone Bay, and this was the final product. A DFO float off the dock in Lunenburg suggested to me an interesting subject covered with nets and ropes. And finally into an area where I'm doing lobster traps here with a reference in the corner, and the internal painting within the center of the large painting, an area that I call wired. Then I moved on to more of this painting within a painting in this sonar piece. And here we have it. This is the Respect paintings that were in the show in July. And here is all the blackboard paintings that were in the show. And there was 25 paintings in all. Thanks for watching 4 Decades of One Man's Art.